EA Sports is proud to present today's PGA Tour coverage. Today we're here at Paracel Storm, located in the South China Sea. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports, set to bring you all the action out on the course. Frank, looks like a bit of a war zone out there.
Interesting layout, Rich. 18 par threes ahead of us, and well, we're going to have to negotiate ourselves around there, hopefully with radio control, and we can fire when we're ready.
One of the most unusual courses in the world. Players hitting across islands, over buildings, and off an aircraft carrier. You couldn't ask for much more.
This is not for the faint of heart.
Just a little tap in here. Did the job right there. The 11th hole here at Paracel Storm, now a military playground. Frank, certainly
here at 11, you can see the weather vanes that adorn the right side of this hole. Tee shot has to be played across that seawall. So once again, all carry. And let's see if he can land softly on the other side.
Frank, that's just a really good putt right there.
Yeah, that's why you call lag putting. You get outside a certain distance, and really your mind has to be about two putting and not trying to be a hero.
Frank, this is a daunting tee shot, isn't it?
Now, this has to be hit perfectly.
That's a bit offline in the rough. Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another.
Going right back to the large island here at the 13th, Frank.
Trenches behind will certainly protect anything that goes a little bit long. Left of this green, you better call in the Navy.
That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
He'll need to be strong with this. You like this one, Frank?
Oh, it's a good one. Safely on.
A makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under par. Solid par to remain 1 under. Frank, this looks like a green where if things didn't go well, you might find yourself just walking around in a bit of a haze, maybe talking to an old volleyball that washed ashore.
It's almost like a booby trap, Rich. It looks way too easy after some of the other holes we've seen. I've got this sort of sneaking suspicion there's something out there. It just looks like a green, just perched up there with very little trouble around. That's got me thinking there might just be something out there.
That is always so disappointing from that kind of a spot when you come up short.
Yeah, you're licking your chops over that one. A shot you think you could hit directly at the flag. Now, test for the short game.
Settles in over the putt. Time to just pick up and move on to the next hole. Frank, in any war zone, the element of surprise is always so critical, and we see that here at the 15th.
Yeah, this green is fortified by the jungle that surrounds it, and just a little feature that you often don't see on a golf course. It's not a bunker in the middle of that green, just a mini forest.
Just a little short shot here. Here's Martin Keimer for par. In for par. And just take a look out at the battleships burning, the solar panels, the bridges, the barracks. You know you're not at your dad's country club anymore. Frank, there's fairway, there's rough, and then there's mulch.
Yeah, the worst thing about the mulch is all these little chips around the ball, and that's so the ball doesn't sit up. And once again, this shot might look easy, but if you just miss it a bit, it so exaggerates the outcome.
Well, you couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Just a couple of feet. So, with that, 3 over par now for the round. 17th hole now at Paracel Storm. And Frank, as we come toward the end of this round, you really want to salute the caddies as well as the players.
That's right. They've gone out there with meal packs today and canteens to make sure that there's the right amount of sustenance. But if you're looking for victory, then a strong finish is needed. Good chance for a birdie here at 17. You've got to traverse, obviously, the water there, and without the help of the Navy today, this is going to have to come in nice and high and soft, a little bit like a paratrooper coming in down there to avoid all those trees and palm trees that protect the front and the right side of this par 3.
Three over for the day. Frank, the job is almost complete here at the 18th hole, and a good job at that, as we have seen some spectacular golf here at Paracel Storm in the South China Sea.
Just one more battle ahead, the difficult 18th. Should they succeed, then I think they're worthy of a salute.
So off the tee here at the par 3, not his best stuff, but still a chance to make the 3.
Yeah, that was a poor miss off the tee. See if he can redeem himself.
Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Saves par, stays at 3 over. Frank, what a day of golf we saw out there today. The kind of performance that a General Schwarzkopf, a General Patton would be proud of. Presented by EA Sports in association with the PGA Tour. Take a look at this site. Is it for real? Frank, I've never seen anything quite like this as we get set to call it for EA Sports. Rich Lerner behind the microphone, and we welcome you to this par 73 course that offers, well, this is an understatement, elevated tees and crossing canyon tee shots. Frank, what's the player need to look out for?
Well, you've got to look out for the other added value of shot making here. There's the odd shot where you can actually bounce off the rock faces. So if you can't find the normal way from A to B, just look left or right or even above, and you just might find another way to get to Nirvana. That's as bad a shot as I've seen for a long while.
What was he thinking there? Frank, this is where a golfer's mind is really tested here after hitting one out of bounds.
Well, on the flip side, though, Rich, you know what you've done wrong. So erase it. Time to put a good swing on it.
Now playing the 5th because it was out of bounds on that previous shot. He in the bunker, still with a chance. Mishit, wrong club. What happened there, Frank?
All of the above, maybe. It's a little bit of a head scratcher. Wasn't that hard a shot.
In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brutal out there.
120 yards. Frank, you know what's so cool about this? It's not just a round of golf. This is somewhere between a round of golf and an expedition. I mean, it's that spectacular.
Well, caddies are replaced by donkeys here for a start, so it really is an expedition, as well as the bison tee markers are like the perfect fit, because this is country that's been here for so long. The Native American Indian has spent so much time in this area, so it's nice to look at this area and remember all these great things that have happened. This is a landmark. and that we can now play golf in amongst us. And in a portion of history, all this thing can happen. Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, 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 rough.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Hate to say it, but that is a quadruple bogey, double the par, and time to pick up and move on. The second shot now to the par 4. Every once in a while you're reminded this is a pretty hard game.
That was evidence. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Straight away now from 145 yards. Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one. Just too much juicy grass between the ball and the club face. It's always going to come up short out of that sort of light.
Long putt here. This will require a good touch. That was not a very good read right there. Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. That will be 4 over par on the scorecard for this hole. Time to pick up and move on. Up to the par 3 12th, and again, I've said this before, Frank, you do not want to miss it left.
All long. This green just juts out there at a 45-degree angle. Must fly it all the way through the air. That bunker might save you, gives you about another 5 or 10 yards, but you've referenced it long left, and you will be in trouble.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Just trying to make clean contact from the rough. Oh my goodness, he just made that. I cannot believe it.
I was thinking he might get it close. And just a great shot. Been
a rocky round. Now the 13th hole, and all kinds of challenges here, Frank.
Yeah, another par 5. This one, some fun in front. Find the fairway, and of course that second shot across the little oasis up here in the mountains to a green that you would normally say is an island green. Excuse that. There are rocks and all sorts of things around, but that second shot, just to have a chance to reach this par 5 and 2 is one thing, but look at the danger that's around it. Waterfalls, water. It's a very, very severe price if you don't find this green with your approach shot.
This is one of the greatest par 5s in the world, isn't it?
Oh, without doubt, you'll never see another hole that looks like this one.
This one doesn't look good.
There's water over there.
Frank, I hate to go negative, but let's clear a few things up. The penalties when you hit it in the water versus hitting it out of bounds.
Yeah, some people, that's a good question, Rich, because some people think they're almost the same, but when you hit it out...
He went for the brief swim there, Frank. This
will take a good swing.
Playing his 4th shot after the 3rd was wet.
Oh, nice strike, Rich. Not quite directly in line with the flag.
Just drifting a bit to the right, but he'll settle. So, Frank, he'll take a drop here.
Yeah, he'll take his medicine, take his penalty shot. The hole's not over yet.
Rory McILORY playing his 4th shot. So, drop the shot after ending up with the water on that recent miscue. This is the 6th shot after that previous shot went into the water, facing 100 yards. Frank, safe to say he is not having his best day out here today. What kind of advice do you give a player who's struggling?
Well, you just almost got to forget what's happened. I know that's easier said than done. Just start a clean slate. Just hit a good shot. Just find a fairway. Don't try and get too specific. There's enough out there. The greens are big enough. Just find a piece of green. Find a piece of fairway. Maybe knock a couple of putts in. And then let it add up in your direction.
That is 5 over par for this hole. Time to pick up and move along. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Not going so well for him. He has this for bogey. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. So back-to-back par 5s, 14, Frank. I've heard you describe holes before. Have a go at this one. I'm curious. Go ahead.
Well, I never thought I'd be talking about a par 5 that can stretch over 900 yards, but this is it. Fortunately, we're at altitude. Fortunately, this hole plays a little downhill. That's about it. The rest is all up to you because it's going to take 3 absolutely beautiful shots to reach this par 5 and 2. A sliver of the fairway all the way across the side of the mountain. And somehow, not only do you have to hit it once, but you've got to hit it twice just to have a 3rd shot at this par 5 green.
Playing his 2nd shot here at the par 5. Not very good at all right there.
No, I think it's time.
Well, you don't want to compound the error. Out of bounds and now back on the tee with a provisional. This one has to be in play. Now playing 4 after going OB on that previous shot.
Second shot.
Well, once you hit double the par, it's time to just pick up and move on. Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. Well, hit the stroke limit on that one. Down to the par 4 15th, sharp dogleg to the right.
Yeah, sort of wrap around hole. Ideally, aim left. This time we're heading away from the canyon, so it should be a little easier to breathe. But still, another good drive is needed here. Thread it down through there to at least have a look at that green for the second shot. Well protected, this green at a 45-degree angle to the right. Relatively flat hole, but it does serpent its way all the way down till you get to the green.
Frank, not overly long, but still a pretty good spot and in the fairway.
Yeah, that's in that 280 mark.
Frank, this ball's in the rough. You like to hinge just a little bit quicker on the takeaway when the ball is down like this?
No, when it's down, you've just got to make sure that you wind up almost like you're hitting a tee shot. This is not one to be dallied with. You've got to hit it powerfully, and you really have to focus on that club getting through the grass, past the ball, and out the other side.
Not enough on that one.
Yeah, it just seemed to baby it.
Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. And getting ready for the putt. Struggling a bit with the flat stick and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. This is a par attempt for Keimer.
That was cruel. That looked like it was certainly going in.
Well, that's disappointing. He misses the par putt, and he'll have this for bogey. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Well, you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par. In fact, well over par. Just a couple of feet. Boy, those will knock the wind out of your sails. Double bogey. Now to the par 4 16th hole, and Frank, again, the canyon comes into play. The wildlife is out here. We have the hot air balloons with the gallery gathering in just the most unusual setting I have ever seen.
This is an absolute bizarre hole, really. It just turns around. It's in the shape of a U. And the best view of that green, really, is to drive it all the way down the corner and down the right side. The right side, of course, is the closest to the canyon. There's a lot of wildlife up the top here. Not only that, but this hole also plays uphill. So this is probably the hardest tee shot on the golf course.
It's almost like a question mark, and you have to be asking yourself,
the question.
What in the world am I doing out here? How do we play this? Just enjoy it. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Don't know that approach will make the highlight reel, but he still has a chance if he makes this putt. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. That was a pretty nasty lie out of the rough. He did the right thing there, Frank.
Well, that's a little absurd, that, Rich. That shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up.